Have still to find the winning formula in the league this season. It looked as far away as ever as Sligo, seeking win number 3, swept into the lead in only the 3rd minute. Ian Gilzine with the finish that put the champs behind. You can't give him too much of an opportunity in front of goal. The Sligo captain swooping to conquer. Wonderful ball by James Mulligan, sending Johnny Kenny away. The cross, perfection itself. And at this early stage, Rovers in front. But Pats are nothing if not game fighters. It may not have been coming off for them so far, but they did get the break of the ball for the equaliser. Midway through the half, O'Flaherty miskicked. Martin Riley in to score. Appeals for a handball against the Sligo centre-half. Dale Hall forgotten. And the ball came free. Riley was there to punish the error. And that was 1-1. But just when it seemed the corner had been turned, one of the wheels fell off again. Keith Long caught out by Ryan Cross's long ball. Keeper McKenna always going to struggle and brought down Chris Twitty. Referee Joe Byrne had absolutely no option. Out with a red card, off with the keeper. Pats protesting. Packy Lynch leading the complaints, but surely there can have been none. Keith Long put under inordinate pressure when Cross swept it in and gave his goalkeeper no protection whatsoever. Twitty was fouled. Now, in times of crisis, to whom do Pats turn? Ricky O'Flaherty, of course, goal scorer supreme, about to become a goalkeeper par excellence. Did I say crisis? What crisis? Any regular number 1 would have been proud of that save. James Mulligan denied. Placed it well. O'Flaherty guessed right. Good stop. But the fun was only starting. Clearly the air around the Pats bench had been blue. It wasn't to the liking of the linesman. And after a consultation with referee Byrne, marching papers were produced once again, this time for Pat's manager, Brian Kerr, who's not exactly unfamiliar with the process of debate with the match officials. Down to 10 men, and a manager saying his piece and about to depart the scene. The tide clearly flowing into Sligo Bay. And the second lead goal was on its way. Some 7 minutes later, to be precise. Pats getting themselves all of a tangle after Sligo's patient build-up had moved the men around the board. Paul O'Sam's error. Johnny Kenny's opportunism. And a splendid finish from James Mulligan, the man who missed the penalty. Sligo looking sharp and worth their 2-1 lead. Johnny Kenny, as ever, superb on the right, and Mulligan knowing the way to goal, if not from the spot. Second half, Pat's never say die spirit to the fore. Paul O'Sam at the midpoint, redeeming his earlier error, rising to meet Willie Burke's cross, 2-2 the score. But a great goal for Pats, a bad one for Sligo to give away. Take a look here, 3 defenders rising with O'Sam, and he still managed to outclimb them all. The excitement not over yet. Sligo seeking a winner, and Mulligan almost in, but weight of numbers in the Pats penalty area, closing the door. And it would have been rough justice if Pats had to leave this match with nothing, for they too had a late opportunity. Eddie Gormley sending away Trevor Crawley, who won't really want to see this again. Most of it he managed to do right, except this. So a point for Pats, and it was a rather calmer Brian Kerr who gave us his verdict.
Well, it was another fabulous match down here, a fairly explosive match, I would have thought. Sligo were a good side. We were very, very brave in the circumstances tonight. I'm proud of the team, I'm proud of the club, I'm proud of our supporters. They helped us turn it around. You know, with 10 men and Ricky playing in goal against the elements, I have to be happy with a point in those circumstances.
I felt as though first half we'd done enough that we could have gone in 4 goals to the good. You know, obviously missing a penalty, we missed a fair few chances. I know you're not going to tuck them away all the time, but we could have had the game wrapped up by half-time. The sending off, you know, it seems to help the team that has the man sent off. We had that up in the Brandywell and played fantastic in the second half up there. And that's what they did second half, and Eddie Gormley, I thought, was the difference in the sides in the second half.
Last night's game at Dalymount Park started brightly enough, with Bohemians showing good attacking intent in the early stages. Paul Doolan and Derek Swan linked up well after 4 minutes of the first half, but as Peter Hanrahan ran on to Doolan's well-weighted pass, the linesman's flag went up, and that quelled Bohemians' first attack on goal. Sligo Rovers created very little in the first period, and this Chris Twiddy cross typified their efforts. Off the crossbar, but it never looked like troubling Dave Henderson in the Bohemians' goal. Derek Swan was looking the one most likely to break the deadlock throughout the first half. Tommy Byrne and Kevin Brady began the build-up to one of his better chances. Well, Owen Mullen, who also had a decent first period, picked up the breaking ball, and he found Brady again. The fullback's low cross eluded Houghton and Lynch, but Swan saw it late, and O'Neill made the save. Derek Swan getting into a good position, but possibly lost sight of the ball behind the two Sligo Rovers defenders, who surprisingly failed to clear the danger. Another half chance coming up for Bohs. Hanrahan with the flick on the near post. Brian Mooney got a touch, but it wasn't true enough to trouble Alan O'Neill in the Sligo goal. But while the game was never a thriller, there was plenty of goal-mouth action and the odd unusual incident. No danger here, it appears. O'Neill poised to clear the ball, but the Rovers keeper decides to play a bit of football, not advisable with Peter Hanrahan bearing down on goal, and in the ensuing chase, O'Neill fouled the Bohemian striker. Now, if the letter of the law was rigidly applied here, the keeper could have been sent to the line, but John McDermott used his discretion, and a yellow card was justice enough for that little misdemeanour. Well, you couldn't accuse the league leaders of not trying to eke out an opening. Owen Mullen again involved, and the resulting shot from Brian Mooney was well struck, but just over. Whatever caretaker manager Chris Rutherford said to his side at half-time, Sligo started the second 45 minutes in more determined fashion. Gareth O'Sullivan creating space for the cross, but Kevin Brady made the vital clearing header. A corner kick 5 minutes later led to the opening goal. Dave Henderson made the initial clearance. He also saved then the volley from Ryan Cross, but the danger wasn't averted there as the ball broke to Pádraig Moran, and his shot skimmed through the crowded penalty area and into the back of the net. 8 minutes gone in the second half, and the visitors were ahead. Moran's shot here eluding three Bohemians players and past the unsighted Dave Henderson. 1-0 to Sligo Rovers. Bohemians may have dominated the first half, but the game was now going Sligo Rovers' way. And when James Mulligan got the better of Robbie Best, goal number 2 looked very much on the cards. But Best's presence alone helped negate the danger, and the resulting toe poke from Mulligan was easily saved by Dave Henderson. Well, Bohemians did have the ball in the net in the 69th minute. Brian Mooney began the build-up. Swan held it up well for Paul Doolan. His cross picked out Mooney again, but the linesman's flag was up straight away, offside the decision, and it just wasn't turning out to be Bohemians' night. The breaks were certainly going Rovers' way now, and just a minute later their second goal came. The build-up was pretty good. James Mulligan spreading it wide to John Kenny. Then Ryan Cross joined the attack, and the Sligo Rovers defenders showed great determination, avoiding three Bohemians challenges, finally getting in the telling cross, and it was Lee Tew who appeared to get the final touch to make it 2-0 to Sligo Rovers. A cross showing good determination, and his efforts proving worthwhile as Tew scrambled it home. Well, the Sligo goal was threatened near the end of the game. Warren Park's shot was fumbled by O'Neill. The angle was too tight for Swan, and 2-0 it finished at Dalymount.
The result was probably better than the performance. I thought we played particularly well second half, and we worked very well second half. But first half performance was a little bit disappointment. But like you say, we're very happy to come away with the 3 points.
Certainly midfield battle seemed to go Sligo Rovers' way in the second half.
We did in the second half, but first half I thought Bohemians dictated the play and they played fairly well.
And this puts you second in the league, a good position to be in. And what about your own position as caretaker manager? You must be pretty pleased with the way things have gone now.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy the way things have gone. Like, I'm caretaker manager till he appoints a new manager, and I'm just happy to keep in contention with the top of the league.
I thought conditions didn't lend for a flowing football game, so it was always going to turn into a little bit of a battle, really. And I thought, except for the goals, I thought we played okay. We played very well the first half, I thought, against the wind, and we started brightly in the second half, and fair play to Sligo. They came along and they nicked the goal from the corner kick, and after that they let us come at them and they nicked another goal. So that's the way the game went. Just went away from us tonight.
A big attendance at Finn Park, not surprising with Harps and Sligo Rovers going well in the league at the moment, and that was Pierce Walsh giving the home side the lead, a well-taken free kick after 52 minutes. Well, 5 minutes from time, the hometown celebrations were quelled somewhat when Finn Harps failed to clear Chris Twitty's free kick. The ball eventually broke for Lee Chu, who rammed it home 1-1 in Ballybuffet.
The resurgence in the Northwest has been the story of the season so far, not least the rise of Finn Harps. 5,000 fans saw them take the lead in the showgrounds. Stephen Kelly's cross turned in by John Gerard McGettigan as the Sligo defence simply froze. 4 minutes later, the Donegal side made the point secure. An over-robust challenge by Ian Lynch gave them the opportunity. From long range, their fans still celebrating the lead goal when Jonathan Minnick gave them even more to shout about with a perfect free kick. Finn Harps up to third following that win. Fitzgerald's throw in towards Mick O'Byrne, who has the pace to get past Ian Lynch. And here's Kieran Kavanagh with the goal gaping and the shot well over the bar. Crossfield pass from Mick O'Byrne, back on the side today after a long injury. And Kavanagh, well, never really threatened the goal. Free kick won by UCD in a dangerous position for Sligo. Jason Caldwell standing over the free kick. Struck to the far post towards Palmer, and that's a great save by Bruges. A great chance for UCD. Big Terry Palmer up from the back, doing the job he came up there for, getting onto the end of that lovely cross from Jason Caldwell, and Nicky Bruges had to be sharp at his near post to make a good save. Twitty's throw. Mulligan did well. Cross towards Moran at the far post, and only inches over the bar. Sligo's best chance so far, falling to John Kenny, who had switched wings. Lovely work by James Mulligan, found space, a lovely cross to the far post, and there was John Kenny with a flashing header just over. An interested spectator here at Belfield in the blue coat at the back of the shot there, Brian Kerr, manager of St. Pat's. And he might see UCD take the lead, and indeed he does, because Jason Sherlock has received an excellent cross from Aidan Lynch and given the students the lead with 10 minutes to go to half-time. And it's no more than they deserved, really. Mark Hutchinson, good first-time ball to O'Sullivan. McLaughlin's tackle straight back to Hutchinson. All of a sudden, a pep in Sligo's step, and it's Jamesy Mulligan trying to get the shot in, and it's just a couple of feet wide. That's one of the best moves Sligo put together in the match so far. James Mulligan, top scorer for them this season with 6. Taken by Twitty towards Gilzine. They head towards the far post, and put home by James Mulligan as the UCD defence stood and admired that free kick. The introduction of Ian Gilzine has certainly made a difference. A beautifully fighted free kick by Chris Twitty. Gilzine rising at the far post, and the angle of the ball deceiving UCD. James Mulligan the first to react.
I thought we had the best of the game in the first half anyway. We got the goal, and maybe we should have got a couple more. We had a good 10-minute spell to start the second half as well. We could have gained on our advantage. For full credit to Sligo, they got back into the game, and they really had us on the rack for the last few minutes.
Well, I was very pleased. When I say very pleased, I was pleased with the second half and the way they came back from a goal down. Showed a lot of character, a lot of spirit, and I was very pleased for the players because they deserved it in the end.
It all started so well for Sligo Rovers at the showgrounds last night, just 3 minutes gone, when Steve Burks rose to head home the first goal of the game. But Cork City were right back in the match in the 26th minute, a mistake by Nicky Bruges in the Rovers' goal, and Patsy Frayne was there to take advantage. It was one-way traffic in the second half, and John Caulfield had particular reason to celebrate when he scored Cork City's second, achieving a personal landmark in the process, 100 goals in the Premier Division for his club. Well, Damien O'Connell made it 3-1 to Cork City in the 76th minute. And appropriately, John Caulfield had the final say on the night. A good build-up down the left by Cork City. The cross wasn't dealt with decisively, and Caulfield scored his 101st Premier Division goal to leave it 4-1 to Cork City.
Defeated UCD at Finn Park.